The train station was buzzing with people rushing everywhere. Maya stood near the big information board, watching hundreds of strangers walk past her. Her hands were shaking as she checked her pockets for the 10th time, hoping somehow her wallet would magically appear. But it wasn't there. It was really gone. Just 3 hours ago, everything seemed perfect. Maya had walked out of the biggest job interview of her life, feeling confident and hopeful. The company seemed impressed with her answers, and she thought she might actually get the position. This job could change everything for her family. Her mom worked at a grocery store during the day and cleaned offices at night just to pay for Maya's college. Her little brother needed medicine that cost more money than they had. This job was supposed to fix all of that. Now she was stuck in New York City with no way to get home. Maya pulled out her phone, but the screen stayed black. Dead battery. Of course. She had used it all morning to review her interview notes and forgot to charge it. She looked around the massive station, feeling smaller than ever. People in expensive suits walked by, talking loudly on their phones about important meetings and business deals. Nobody seemed to notice the scared college girl standing alone. She thought about calling her mom collect from a payphone. But what would she say? That she lost her wallet like a careless child? Her mom would somehow find money to help her, probably borrowing from their neighbor again or skipping meals for a week. Maya couldn't do that to her family. They had sacrificed too much already. The departure board showed her train leaving in 45 minutes. The ticket would cost $68. She had checked 3 times with the ticket agent, hoping the price would somehow change. It didn't. Maya sat down on a cold metal bench and put her head in her hands. She had never felt so alone in her life. Around her, families hugged goodbye, business people rushed to catch their trains, and couples shared coffee while waiting. Everyone seemed to belong somewhere except her. She remembered the morning when she left for New York. Her mom had packed her a lunch in an old paper bag and given her $20 extra, just in case something happens. Maya had felt so grown up then, telling her mom not to worry. She was going to handle this interview and make them all proud, now that $20 was gone with everything else in her wallet. The announcement for her train echoed through the station. 30 minutes until departure. Maya stood up and walked around, looking at the ground, hoping maybe her wallet had fallen somewhere. She retraced her steps from the subway to the station entrance, checking every corner and asking security. Guards if anyone had turned in a lost wallet. Nothing. She thought about staying in the station overnight. It stayed open 24 hours, and she could probably find a quiet corner somewhere. But what about tomorrow, and the day after that? She had classes on Monday, and her mom would be worried sick if she didn't come home. 20 minutes until her train left. Maya's pride was fighting a war with her desperation. She had never asked strangers for money before. Her mom taught her to work hard for everything and never depend on others. But this was different, wasn't it? This was an emergency. She looked around the station, studying people's faces. Some looked mean and unfriendly. Others seemed too busy to be bothered. A few looked kind, but Maya couldn't bring herself to approach them. What if they said no? What if they thought she was lying or trying to trick them? 15 minutes left. Finally, she spotted him, an older man sitting alone on a bench near her departure gate. He was reading some papers and wore a nice dark suit that looked expensive but not flashy. His hair was gray around the edges and he had kind eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. Something about him reminded Maya of her grandfather, who used to tell her that education was the only thing nobody could ever take away from her. The man looked up from his papers and caught Maya staring. Instead of looking annoyed, he smiled, slightly, and nodded. That small gesture gave Maya the courage she needed. Her legs felt like they were made of concrete as she walked toward him. Her heart was beating so fast she thought he might hear it. She had practiced what to say in her head a dozen times, but now all those words seemed to disappear. "Excuse me, sir," she whispered, her voice barely louder than the noise around them. The man looked up and gave her his full attention. His eyes were patient and kind, not rushed like everyone else in the station. Maya took a deep breath. This was it. Either this stranger would help her, or she would be spending the night in New York with no money, no phone, and no way home. "I'm really sorry to bother you," she continued, her words coming out in a rush. "I know this sounds crazy, and I promise I'm not trying to trick you or anything. I had a job interview today, and I think my wallet got stolen or lost somewhere in the city. I have no money for a train ticket home, and my phone is dead, and I don't know anyone here." The man set his papers down completely and turned to face her. He didn't look annoyed or suspicious like Maya expected. He just listened. "I'm sorry I can't pay you back right now," Maya went on, her voice getting quieter with embarrassment. "But could you please help me buy a train ticket home? I promise on my grandmother's grave that I'll find a way to pay you back. I'll work. Extra hours at my part-time job. I'll sell something. I'll figure it out somehow. I just need to get home." Tears started forming in Maya's eyes, but she refused to let them fall. She had to stay strong. She had to convince this stranger that she was trustworthy, that she wasn't some scammer trying to get free money. The man studied her face for a moment. Maya held her breath, waiting for him to say no, waiting for him to tell her to find someone else to bother, waiting for him to walk away like she probably deserved. Instead, he stood up and smiled. "What's your name, young lady?" he asked in a warm voice that sounded like he really cared about her answer. "Maya Thompson, sir. I'm a sophomore at State University, studying business administration. I live about 2 hours north of here with my mom and little brother." The train announcement came over the speakers again. 10 minutes until departure. "Well, Maya Thompson," the man said, folding his papers and putting them in his briefcase. "Let's go get you that train ticket." Maya couldn't believe it. This stranger was actually going to help her. She felt like crying from relief, but also from gratitude. In a world where everyone seemed too busy to care about anyone else, this man had stopped everything to help a complete stranger. As they walked toward the ticket counter together, Maya felt something she hadn't felt all day. Hope. Maybe everything was going to be okay after all. Maybe there were still good people in the world who helped others just because it was the right thing to do. She had no idea that this moment would change her entire life. She had no idea that the kind stranger walking beside her was about to become the most important person in her future. All she knew was that someone had heard her whispered plea for help and decided to answer it. The ticket line was short, and Maya's train was still boarding. She was going to make it home after all. The ticket agent looked bored as Maya and the kind stranger approached the counter. Maya's hands were still shaking from nervousness, but the man beside her seemed completely calm and confident. He walked up to the window like buying train tickets. For strangers was something he did every day. "1 ticket to Millbrook, please," he said to the agent, pulling out a leather wallet that looked like it cost more than Maya's textbooks. Maya watched in amazement as he handed over the money without even hesitating. $68 meant nothing to him, but it meant everything to her. She wanted to say thank you 1,000,000 times, but the words felt too small for what he was doing. "Here you go, miss," the agent said, sliding the ticket across the counter. Maya grabbed it like it was made of gold. "Thank you so much, sir. I really can't believe you're helping me like this. Most people would have just walked away." The man smiled and extended his hand. "My name is Robert Williams, but you can call me Mr. Williams, and you don't need to thank me yet. I have a feeling this conversation isn't over." They walked toward the departure gate together. Maya kept looking at her ticket, making sure it was real. Her train would leave in 6 minutes, but Mr. Williams didn't seem in any hurry to say goodbye. "Tell me about this job interview," he said as they found a quiet spot near the platform. "What kind of work are you looking for?" Maya was surprised he wanted to keep talking. Most people would have bought the ticket and left, but Mr. Williams seemed genuinely interested in her story. "It was for an entry-level position at Morrison Financial Group," Maya explained. "Nothing fancy, just answering phones and doing basic office work, but it pays twice what I make at my campus job. and they offer health insurance. My little brother has asthma, and his medicine costs so much money that my mom sometimes has to choose between buying his inhaler or buying groceries. Mr. Williams nodded, listening carefully to every word. And what are you studying in school? Business administration with a focus on non-profit management, Maya said, her voice getting stronger as she talked about her dreams. I know it sounds silly, but I want to start an organization someday that helps kids from poor families go to college. I grew up watching my mom work 2 jobs just to keep us afloat, and I know there are thousands of other families going through the same thing. That doesn't sound silly at all, Mr. Williams said seriously. It sounds like you understand what real problems look like and want to solve them. That's rare in someone your age. The train conductor called for boarding, but Maya found herself not wanting to leave. This stranger was the first person in a long time who seemed to really listen to her ideas without treating her like just another broke college student with unrealistic dreams. I should get on the train, Maya said reluctantly. But Mr. Williams, I meant what I said about paying you back. Could I get your address or something? I promise I'll send you the money as soon as I can. Instead of giving her an address, Mr. Williams pulled out a business card from his jacket pocket. It was thick and expensive looking, with raised letters that Maya could feel with her fingertips. Email me when you get home safely, he said. I want to know you made it okay. Maya looked at the card and felt confused. It was simple and elegant, just his name and contact information. She couldn't tell what kind of business he was in, but everything about him suggested he was successful. His suit, his confidence, the way he carried himself. This wasn't just some regular office worker. What kind of work do you do, Mr. Williams? She asked. I help companies make good decisions about money and investments, he said simply. Nothing too exciting. The conductor called for final boarding. Maya had to go, but something told her this wasn't really goodbye. Mr. Williams, can I ask you something? She said as they walked toward the train. Of course. Why did you help? Me? You don't know me? You don't know if I'm telling the truth, and you'll probably never see me again. Most people would have just ignored me. Mr. Williams stopped walking and looked at Maya with those kind eyes that had first given her courage to approach him. When I was about your age, I was in a similar situation, he said quietly. Different circumstances, but the same feeling of being stuck with no way out. Someone helped me when they didn't have to, and it changed the entire direction of my life. Maybe this is my chance to pass that kindness forward. Maya felt tears starting to form in her eyes again, but this time they were tears of gratitude, not desperation. I won't forget this, she said firmly, and someday, when I'm successful, I'm going to help other people the same way you helped me today. I believe you will, Mr. Williams said with a smile that seemed to say he knew something Maya didn't. Maya climbed onto the train and found a window seat. As the train started moving, she saw Mr. Williams still standing on the platform, watching, to make sure she got on safely. He waved, and Maya waved back until the train carried her out of the station. As the city disappeared behind her, Maya held the business card in her hands and thought about everything that had happened. This morning, she had been just another struggling college student hoping for a break. Tonight, she was going home with a story she could barely believe herself. She thought about Mr. Williams and tried to figure out what made him different from all the other people in that busy station. It wasn't just his expensive clothes or his obvious success. It was the way he treated her like she mattered, like her dreams were worth listening to, like her problems were worth solving. Maya had grown up around people who looked down on her, family because they didn't have money, teachers who assumed she wouldn't go to college, neighbors who whispered about her mom working multiple jobs, classmates who made fun of her second-hand clothes. But Mr. Williams had looked at her and seen potential instead of poverty. The train rolled through small towns and countryside as Maya stared out the window. She thought about her conversation with Mr. Williams and realized something important had happened during those few minutes at the station. He had asked her about her goals and dreams, and when she answered, he didn't laugh or tell her to be more realistic. He listened like he believed she could actually achieve them. That kind of encouragement was something Maya rarely experienced. Her mom supported her, of course, but her mom was too tired and worried about paying bills to talk much about big dreams. Her professors were nice but busy with hundreds of other students. Her friends at school mostly complained about their problems instead of talking about solutions. But Mr. Williams had treated Maya like her ideas mattered, like her nonprofit dream was something worth pursuing instead of just wishful thinking. For the first time in months, Maya felt like maybe she really could make a difference in the world. As the train pulled into her home station, Maya carefully put the business card in her backpack's safest pocket. She would email Mr. Williams as soon as she got home, just like he asked. She would thank him properly and figure out how to pay him back. Maya had no idea that the business card in her backpack belonged to one of the most powerful men in the financial world. She had no idea that her honest answers about her dreams and goals had impressed someone who could actually help make them come true. She just knew that a stranger had shown her kindness when she needed it most, and that kindness had reminded her that good people still existed in the world. Walking home from the train station, Maya felt different than she had that morning. She felt like maybe, just maybe, her luck was starting to change. Maya woke up the next morning feeling like the previous day had been a dream. She rolled over in her small bed and saw Mr. Williams's business card sitting on her nightstand, where she had carefully placed it before going to sleep. The thick, cream-colored paper proved that everything really had happened. Her mom had already left for her morning shift at the grocery store, but she had left a note on the kitchen table asking how the interview went. Maya smiled as she wrote back that she would tell her everything when she got home from work. After making herself some coffee with the cheap instant stuff they kept in the cabinet, Maya sat down at her old laptop and pulled out the business card. She wanted to send Mr. Williams a proper thank you email like she had promised, but first she was curious about what his company actually did. He had been so modest about his work, just saying he helped companies make decisions about money. Maya typed Robert Williams into the search engine and hit enter. The screen loaded slowly on their basic internet connection, but when the results appeared, Maya's coffee mug slipped from her hand and crashed to the floor. The first result was a Forbes article with a large photo of Mr. Williams in the same kind of expensive suit he had worn yesterday. The headline read, Robert Williams, CEO of Williams Enterprises, named Financial Executive of the Year. Maya's hands started shaking as she clicked on the article. This had to be some mistake. There was no way the kind stranger who had helped her at the train station was one of the most powerful businessmen in the country. But there he was, the same gentle eyes and gray hair, sitting behind a massive desk in what looked like a corner office high above the city. The article talked about his company managing billions of dollars in investments and how he had built his empire from nothing after growing up in poverty. Maya scrolled down and found another shocking piece of information. Williams Enterprises owned dozens of smaller companies, including Morrison Financial Group, the exact company where she had interviewed yesterday. "Oh my God," Maya whispered to the empty apartment. "Oh my God, oh my God." She had told the owner of the company about her job interview at his own company. She had explained her family's financial problems to a billionaire. She had promised to pay back $68 to someone who probably spent more than that on lunch every day. Maya felt her face getting hot with embarrassment. Mr. Williams must have thought she was completely clueless. He probably knew exactly who she was and where she had interviewed before she even told him. Maybe he was just being polite by listening to her talk about her dreams and goals. But then Maya remembered the way he had looked at her, the way he had really listened to her answers. That wasn't fake politeness. That was genuine interest. Unless he was an incredible actor, Mr. Williams had cared about what she was saying. Maya spent the next hour reading everything she could find about Robert Williams online. The more she learned, the more amazed she became. He had grown up in a rough neighborhood with a single mother who worked multiple jobs to support him and his younger sister. He had worked his way through college, started his first business with borrowed money, and built it into one of the most successful investment firms in the world. But the articles also talked about his reputation for fairness and his belief in giving back to the community. Several pieces mentioned his quiet philanthropy and his preference for helping people without making a big show of it. One interview quoted him saying, "The best way to judge someone's character is not by how they treat people who can help them, but by how they treat people who can't." Maya realized that's exactly what had happened at the train station. She couldn't help Robert Williams at all. She was just a broke college student with problems, but he had helped her anyway, not because he had to or because it would benefit him, but because it was the right thing to do. Still feeling overwhelmed, Maya opened her email and started typing. She rewrote the message 5 times, trying to find the right words. How do you thank a billionaire for buying you a train ticket? How do you apologize for not recognizing one of the most famous businessmen in the country? Finally, she settled on honesty. Dear Mr. Williams, I hope this email finds you well. This is Maya Thompson, the girl you helped at the train station yesterday. I made it home safely, just like you asked me to let you know. I have to admit something that's pretty embarrassing. After I got home, I looked up your name online to figure out where to send the money to pay you back for the train ticket. I had no idea who you really were when I approached you yesterday. I feel pretty stupid now for explaining my job interview to you when it was at one of your own companies. I keep thinking about our conversation and wondering why you didn't tell me who you were. You could have mentioned that you owned Morrison Financial, or you could have made me feel small for not recognizing you. But you didn't. You just listened to me talk about my dreams like they actually mattered. I want you to know that what you did yesterday changed something inside me. Not just because you helped me get home, but because you treated me like a real person with real goals, instead of just another poor student with problems. I haven't felt that respected in a long time. I still plan to pay you back the $68, even though I know that amount of money probably doesn't mean much to you. It means something to me, though. My mom taught me that keeping your word is the most important thing you can do, especially when people don't expect you to. I don't know if you have any influence over the hiring decisions at Morrison Financial, and I'm not writing this email to ask for any favors. I just wanted to say thank you for reminding me that successful people can still be kind people. That gives me hope for my own future. Respectfully yours, Maya Thompson. Maya read the email 3 more times before finally getting the courage to hit send. Her heart was pounding as she watched the message disappear from her outbox. What if he thought she was trying to use their meeting to get the job? What if he was annoyed that she had looked him up online? She tried to distract herself by doing homework, but she couldn't concentrate. Every few minutes, she found herself refreshing her email to see if he had responded. By lunchtime, there was still nothing. Maya's mom came home from work looking tired as usual, carrying a small bag of groceries that would have to last them until her next paycheck. "So tell me about this interview," her mom said, sitting down at their small kitchen table. "You seemed pretty excited when you left yesterday morning." Maya told her mom about the interview, about losing her wallet, and about the kind stranger who had helped her. She left out the part about Mr. Williams being a billionaire CEO. That still felt too unreal to say out loud. "This Mr. Williams sounds like a good man," her mom said thoughtfully. "Not many people would help a stranger like that these days. You make sure you find a way to thank him properly." "I already sent him an email," Maya said. Around 3 o'clock, Maya heard the familiar ping of a new message in her inbox. Her stomach flipped when she saw the sender's name, Robert Williams. She opened the email with trembling fingers. "Dear Maya, thank you for your thoughtful message. I'm glad you made it home safely. Please don't feel embarrassed about not recognizing me. Honestly, it was refreshing to have a conversation with someone who was interested in ideas instead of impressed by titles. Your passion for helping others and your clear thinking about the problems facing students from low-income families made quite an impression on me. You mentioned that you interviewed at Morrison Financial. I may have some influence there, as you discovered. The hiring manager, Janet Chen, told me about a young woman who interviewed very well but lacked experience. She said this candidate had excellent ideas but wondered if she was ready for the business world. I have a feeling she was talking about you. I'd like to invite you to visit my office next Friday at 2 p.m. My assistant will arrange travel expenses. I have something I'd like to discuss with you, and I think you'll find it interesting. This isn't charity, Maya. This is business. I've been looking for someone with your combination of intelligence, integrity, and genuine desire to make a difference. Our conversation yesterday convinced me that you might be exactly what I've been searching for. Best regards, Robert Williams, P.S. Please don't worry about paying back the train ticket money. Consider it an investment in your future. Maya read the email 4 times before the words fully sank in. Robert Williams, one of the most successful businessmen in America, wanted to meet with her, not as a favor, but as a business opportunity. She thought about yesterday morning when she had been so nervous about a simple entry-level job interview. Now she was being invited to meet with a billionaire CEO who thought she had potential. Maya looked around her family's small apartment, with its second-hand furniture and peeling wallpaper. In 1 week, she would be sitting in a corner office, high above the city, talking business with someone who could change her entire life. She had asked a stranger for help buying a train ticket. That stranger had turned out to be the answer to prayers she didn't even know she had been praying. Maya had never been inside a building this tall before. The elevator climbed 43 floors and her ears popped twice on the way up. She wore her best outfit, a simple black dress her mom had bought her for graduation, and carried the same worn backpack she had taken to her first interview just a week ago. The elevator doors opened to reveal a reception area that looked like something from a movie. Floor-to-ceiling windows showed the entire city spread out below, and everything was decorated in clean whites and grays that probably cost more than Maya's family spent on rent in a year. "You must be Maya Thompson," said the receptionist, a friendly woman who looked like she genuinely enjoyed her job. "Mr. Williams is expecting you. Can I get you anything to drink? Water, coffee, tea?" "Water would be great, thank you," Maya said, trying to keep her voice steady. As she waited, Maya thought about the phone call she had made to her mom the night before. She had finally told her the whole truth about who Mr. Williams really was, and her mom had been quiet for a long time. "Baby," her mom had finally said, "I don't know what this meeting is about, but you remember who you are. You're smart, you're hard-working, and you have a good heart. Don't let anyone make you feel like you're not good enough for whatever room you're walking into." Now sitting in this incredible office high above the city, Maya held on to those words. "Maya?" The receptionist smiled. "Mr. Williams will see you now." Maya followed her down a hallway lined with awards and photos of Mr. Williams meeting with presidents, celebrities, and other important people. At the end of the hall, double doors opened to reveal the biggest office Maya had ever seen. Mr. Williams stood up from behind his desk, and Maya was relieved to see he looked exactly the same as he had at the train station. Same kind eyes, same gentle smile. He was wearing another expensive suit, but somehow he still felt like the approachable stranger who had helped her when she needed it most. "Maya, it's wonderful to see you again," he said, walking around his desk to shake her hand. "Please have a seat. How was your trip up here?" "Fine, thank you. And thank you for covering the travel costs. You really didn't have to do that." "Of course I did," Mr. Williams said, settling into the chair across from her instead of going back behind his intimidating desk. "I asked you to come here, so it's my responsibility to make sure you can get here comfortably." Maya looked around the office, trying not to seem too impressed by the view or the expensive furniture. Through the windows, she could see the train station where they had met, looking tiny from this height. "I have to ask you something, Maya," Mr. Williams said, following her gaze. "When we met last week, what did you think I did for work?" Maya laughed nervously. "Honestly? I thought maybe you were a banker or an accountant, someone successful but not, running a billion-dollar company successful. I definitely didn't expect to find your picture in Forbes magazine." Good, Mr. Williams said with a smile. That means our conversation was genuine. You talked to me like I was just another person, not like someone you were trying to impress. That told me everything I needed to know about your character. He stood up and walked to his desk, picking up a folder. Maya, I've been in business for 30 years, and I've learned that success isn't just about being smart or hardworking, though you need both of those things. The most important quality in business is integrity. It's about doing the right thing, even when nobody's watching, even when it's difficult, even when it costs you something. Maya nodded, not sure where this was going, but hanging on every word. When you approached me at that train station, you were desperate. You could have made up any story to get money from me. You could have lied about who you were or what you needed the money for. But you told me the truth, even though the truth made you vulnerable. That's integrity. Mr. Williams opened the folder and pulled out some papers. I did some research after our meeting. Your grades are excellent, but more importantly, your professors all say the same thing about you. You're honest, you work harder than anyone else, and you genuinely care about helping people. One of them told me you tutored struggling students. For free, even though you needed money yourself. Maya felt her cheeks getting warm. She had never thought of tutoring as anything special. It just seemed like the right thing to do. I also spoke with Janet Chen at Morrison Financial, Mr. Williams continued. She was very impressed with your interview, but she was worried about giving such an important position to someone with no real business experience. I understand her concern, but I think she's missing the bigger picture. Mr. Williams sat back down and looked directly into Maya's eyes. Maya, I don't want to offer you the job at Morrison Financial. Maya's heart sank. Had she done something wrong? Had she misunderstood why she was here? I want to offer you something much better, Mr. Williams continued, and Maya's confusion must have shown on her face because he smiled. I've been thinking about starting a new division of my company, something focused on social impact and community development. I need someone to run it, someone who understands what it's like to struggle, but also has the vision to see solutions. Maya felt like the air had been knocked out of her lungs. I don't understand. Are you offering me a job? I'm offering you the chance to build something from the ground up. You told me you wanted to help students from low-income families access higher education. What if you could do that as your full-time job, with the resources of a major corporation? Behind you? Mr. Williams pulled out another set of papers. This would be a real position with real responsibilities. You'd be developing scholarship programs, mentoring initiatives, and partnerships with schools and universities. The starting salary would be more than double what Morrison Financial was offering, plus full benefits for you and your family. Maya stared at the job description, trying to process what she was reading. Everything on the page was exactly what she had dreamed of doing someday, but she had imagined it happening years in the future, after she had more experience and connections. Mr. Williams, I'm honored, but I don't know if I'm qualified for something this big. I'm just a college sophomore. I don't have any experience running programs or managing budgets or working with corporate executives. You're right. You don't have that experience yet, Mr. Williams said. That's why this position comes with intensive training and mentoring. You'd work directly with me for the first 6 months, learning not just about business operations, but about leadership, strategy, and how to turn good intentions into real results. He leaned forward in his chair. Maya, I built this company from nothing because someone took a chance on me when I was young and inexperienced. I was about your age when my first boss looked past my lack of credentials and saw my potential instead. I've been waiting for the right person to pay that forward to, and I believe that person is you. Maya felt tears starting to form in her eyes. A week ago, she had been worried about affording her brother's medicine. Now she was being offered the chance to make her biggest dreams come true. There's one more thing, Mr. Williams said, pulling out a final document. The position includes a signing bonus that should be enough to cover your brother's medical expenses for the next year and help your mother reduce her work hours so she can spend more time with both of you. Maya couldn't hold back the tears anymore. She thought about her mom working 2 jobs, about her little brother trying to hide when he was having trouble breathing because he knew the medicine was expensive, about all the nights she had stayed awake worrying about money instead of focusing on her studies. "Why?" she whispered. "Why are you doing this for me?" Mr. Williams was quiet for a moment, looking out the window toward the train station where they had met. "Because 30 years ago, I was standing in a place very similar to where you were last week. I was young, broke, and desperate for someone to believe in me. A stranger helped me when they didn't have to, and it changed everything. I've been successful beyond my wildest dreams, but the most important thing I can do with that success is help other people find their own path forward." He turned back to Maya with that same kind smile she remembered from the train station. "You have something special, Maya. You have the intelligence to understand complex problems and the heart to care about solving them. Most importantly, you have the integrity to use whatever power you're given in service of others instead of just yourself." Maya looked at the job offer again, then at Mr. Williams, then out the window at the city below. Somewhere down there were thousands of students, just like her, struggling to afford college, worrying about their families, wondering if their dreams were too big for their circumstances. "If I take this job," Maya said slowly, "I want to make sure we really help people. Not just write checks or create programs that look good on paper, but actually change lives." "That's exactly what I was hoping you'd say," Mr. Williams replied, with a grin. "When can you start?" 6 months later, Maya sat in her own office just 2 floors below Mr. Williams, reviewing applications for the first class of scholarship recipients for the program she had designed. The Second Chance Scholars Initiative had already received national attention, and other companies were asking to partner with them. Maya's mom had been able to quit her night job and was taking classes to become a nurse. Her brother's asthma was under control with the new insurance coverage. Most importantly, 50 students who might never have been able to afford college were starting their freshman year with full scholarships and mentorship support. On her desk, Maya kept a framed copy of the train ticket Mr. Williams had bought her that day. Not because she needed to remember the kindness he had shown her, but because she needed to remember the feeling of being desperate enough to ask a stranger for help. Every time a new student walked into her office looking scared and overwhelmed, Maya remembered that feeling. And every time she was able to tell them, "Yes, we can help you," she thought about how one moment of courage in a train station had changed not just her life, but the lives of everyone she was now able to help. The girl who had whispered, "I'm sorry I can't pay," to a stranger had become the woman who made sure other people never had to whisper those words again.